How to break past the strength plateau. Well, researchers asked this question. They wanted to look at different training styles and find the best way to break through these strength training plateaus. And what they discovered is one method stood out above the rest. It was called accentuated eccentric loading, I should say. And for those not familiar, it is kind of like this as follows. Where you have a concentric movement, you have an eccentric movement, which is basically the method going down. Wikipedia gives a great definition of what this exactly is. But in the case of eccentric movements, you lower the weight down, and what the researchers did was add 40% more resistance, therefore enabling their training participants to break through strength training plateaus quite effectively. Another method, for example, is as follows, and this is in regard, for example, to people trying to do pull-ups and things along those lines. A simple modification would be, instead of doing your pull-ups as follows, what you do is you get a bench, you grab the bar, and you slowly lower yourself down in a modification of an accentuated eccentric movement. But now, let's go right into the research. Study parameters are as follows. Citation title: greater strength gains after training with accentuated eccentric than training with isoinertial loads in already strength trained men. Known study parameters, excellent detail, full public HTML is on file for you to look at. Funding, no way I'm going to be able to pronounce that university, so we'll go on to next. Study model, humans. The study was utilized a twin control group design. Length of the study was 10 weeks, and that's important. You'll understand why more in a second. Subjects, 33 healthy young men, agreed to participate in the study, and of course all informed about the risk of accentuated eccentric loading. And keep in mind, the eccentric load was the concentric load plus 40%, meaning 40% greater resistance on the way down in a slow movement. Results basically were as follows. Accentuated eccentric loading tended to provide a greater training stimulus for strength, isokinetic and isometric, fatigue resistance, repetition to failure, test, and muscle activation, particularly in a 5-week mesocycle when traditional training methods elicited no further improvements after 5 weeks. Remember, the study went 10 weeks, so the greatest benefit to this type of training was the 5th to 10 week to conclusion. So, as follows, we have this. Our method is to utilize the accentuated eccentric loader, which applies a greater external load during the eccentric phase of the lift as compared to the concentric phase. And the results, as we discussed, were as follows. In the long run, 5 weeks plus, after traditional methods stopped yielding strength gains, this is their words, accentuated eccentric training continued to yield improvements in almost all areas: strength, fatigue resistance, and muscle activation. Keep in mind, your medical professional, your healthcare professional, physical therapist, personal trainer, they are going to know what is best for you. But in this case, in regard to this particular research, accentuated eccentric loading proved to superior to all the rest. Again, this is Ralph Turchiano signing off. I hope you find this information useful, and I look forward to seeing you, as always, next week. Thank you very much for watching, I should say, about listening. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.